The Union Stockyards, with its some 375 acres, was a symbol of Chicago, making the city a central point for railroads and slaughtering. Chicago was nicknamed the hog butcher of the world. Many things are unknown about the stockyards, which included the conditions of the workers and the condition of the meat. After Upton Sinclair published his book, The Jungle, he revealed the many atrocities that were happening inside the stockyards, such as the terrible working conditions, meat quality, and job security. Blackmailing and corruption were rampant during this time period, which made working for the stockyards even harder. Roosevelt passed the Pure Food Act of 1906 after The Jungle's publication, which made sure the meat quality was safe. This forever changed the food industry and public health and also affected worker safety and led to the creation of some unions. Life in Chicago was extremely difficult, especially if a person was an immigrant and constituted as the working class. Lives for immigrants and the working class were hard. Some were barely making enough to create a foundation for their families. Many immigrants came for the American dream. Ironically, what they received were horrible living and job conditions, with machinery and situations that could easily kill them. Diseases, corruption, and crime were rampant during this time, and because of this, many were facing harsh realities. Compared to today, many things have been changed to meet the bearable or even satisfactory levels of the working class. For example, crime, corruption, job safety, and other conditions have been improved.
Many immigrant families had to share an apartment built for only one family. This shows the conditions of immigrant life back in this time. Crime and corruption were very rampant during this time. With corrupt politicians and businessmen roaming the streets, blackmailing was a common practice during this time. Blackmailing was a common practice used by many politicians and businessmen to ensure that workers that were previously removed from their jobs could not get a job in the same industry again. Living standards today are very different than they were back then. As this picture shows, living conditions have greatly changed as many people now own single homes and do not have to share apartments with other tenants. With the formation of unions, blackmailing was no longer as rampant as it was before. With workers' rights being protected by unions, many lives were changed and immigrants had better working conditions. Muckrakers such as Upton Sinclair were one of the main people involved, as he directly instigated the need for change by exposing the disgusting atrocities inside the Union stockyards, such as the inhumane working conditions, minimum job security, and inspections that couldn't even fully examine and analyze the quality and safety of the meat products. Upton Sinclair could be the sole person that led to this turning point in meatpacking and safety. With this book, The Jungle, he exposed the terrible conditions of the meatpacking industry and many of its illegal activities. Also, as an effect of the publication of The Jungle, President Roosevelt was disgusted by what he had discovered in the books, so he ordered inspections of the stockyards, which led to Congress passing the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906. For many years, the meatpacking industry was not well inspected by anyone else other than a company's own inspectors. After Upton Sinclair published his book, The Jungle, people everywhere were disgusted that the meat they were eating was not clean, and they could be anything from insect parts to a human being. Roosevelt read this book and called for federal inspectors to go down and check on the conditions to see if Sinclair was telling the truth. Although the owners of the stockyards tried to clean up as well as they could, it was so bad that the health inspectors closed parts down. This led to the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906, which led to safer meats and foods, and made new laws requiring federal inspectors and that all ingredients be labeled. Upton Sinclair's book, The Jungle, helped pass the Pure Food Act of 1906 and assisted in the creation of the FDA, which improved food and drug sanitation and long-term public health. This change was significant because before the FDA was there were little to no inspection or regulations made on food products and drugs, which was really bad for the public health, since contaminated foods and drugs could easily circulate into the market. The creation of the FDA and the food and drug laws that helped inspect and regulate the food products and drugs made the food and drugs much safer and healthier to the general public. As the new laws passed by Congress under the Roosevelt administration were increasingly put into use, the conditions of the workers gradually got better. Food safety and meat quality also were improved, as the new laws taking place required for new nutritional facts to be on the label itself. The Pure Food Act of 1906 led the way to many more reforms to the meatpacking industry and to the Union stockyards. This led to the decline of the Union stockyards. Union stockyards at its height had over 300 acres of livestock pens, factories, storage rooms, and packaging areas. The once over 300-acre Union stockyards was gradually reduced to almost nothing, to the point where in the 1970s they finally closed their doors forever. After over a century of meatpacking, all that is left of this once proud Union stockyards is its front gate. Designated a National Historic Landmark on May 29, 1981. The Union stockyards had a long impacting effect on Chicago and the rest of the world, giving Chicago the nickname of being the hog butcher of the world and giving Chicago an unsafe and corrupt reputation. The Union stockyards also showed how something as small as a book could be the turning point for an entire country and business. The jungle revealed many of the atrocities that happened inside the yards, such as blackmail, terrible job security, and horrible meat that could be very well anything, leading to a long-term effect of newer food quality laws and better quality of products. Without Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, who knows what we could be eating right now? It could be real meat, or it could be insects or other parts. Upton Sinclair's book, The Jungle, has a huge effect on how we live today. Without it,